Students, today we are learning new chapter, that is last chapter, 22nd chapter, that is chemical coordination and integration. Interesting chapter. We are going to learn about different hormones produced in the body by different endocrine glands. Okay, before we start this chapter, as you know that I told you in last class, even in high school also you have learned that control and coordination of the body and bodily functions is by two ways. First way is brain controls it by sending millions of neurons to whole body, that is by neural control and coordination. You have already learnt it. And second way, like aging cannot be controlled by brain, no? Aging means, our age keeps on increasing. Okay, starting from birth, then 5 years, then 6 years, 7 years, but you cannot go back, no? So years cannot be controlled by brain. So what controls it? Then height of the person also cannot be controlled by brain. Like if we can control it, like everybody wants to be more than 6 feet tall, no, that is not possible. It is not under control of brain, then it is under control of some chemicals. They are called hormones, and they are produced by endocrine glands in our body, that we are going to learn in this chapter. Okay, so in our body endocrine systems are there. Endocrine systems are there in our body. I think we have already learnt it. Some 3 to 4 times I have discussed. There are two types of glands in our body, like endocrine glands and exocrine glands. For example, liver is also gland only, but liver is what? Exocrine gland. Exocrine means it is ducted gland. Ducted means, suppose liver produces some chemicals, or you take exocrine gland, okay, any gland, exocrine gland, which is ducted gland. Okay, ducted means exocrine gland produces chemicals or hormones that will pass through definite tubes, like how blood passes through blood vessels, like that hormones also pass through vessels. There is a definite blood vessel, like a tube like structure through which it passes, then it is exocrine. So we call that tube like means vessel like, that is called duct. Duct means tube like structure. So that is ducted gland. Endocrine gland means it is ductless gland, we say. Means gland produces hormones. There are hormones doesn't pass through a tube like structure, it is directly released openly into the blood, then blood will carry it. So there is no definite blood vessel, so it is ductless gland. Anyway, so we are learning endocrine system in this chapter because chemical coordination in our body and integration in our body is because of endocrine system. Endocrine system means it will have many endocrine glands, and all the endocrine glands present in our body together we call endocrine system. Okay, so you can see here it includes endocrine glands and their secretions, that is called hormones. So there are different endocrine glands present in our body. You have learnt it in 10th standard, I think you know very well. So they are called endocrine glands and their secretions, what they release or secrete or produce chemicals, that is called hormones. So what are hormones chemically? Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals, meaning hormones doesn't give any nutrients or food. Do you think hormones provide food to us? Hormone is not a food. Hormone is non-nutrient chemicals that act as intercellular messengers, meaning hormones pass message from one cell to other cell, okay, and it acts in between the cells through blood, okay, and are produced in trace amounts, that is, it is produced in very less quantity. So endocrine glands produce hormones, and hormones are produced in very, very less quantity, that is called trace amounts. Okay, so we will see under human endocrine system. System means, like computer also we call system. It will have monitor, keyboard, mouse, all that together, different parts together, we call together as a system. So here endocrine system means it is not one part. All the endocrine glands in our body together we call endocrine system. So what all comes under that? First one, in the brain itself there are 3 glands, you can see there. First one is hypothalamus, then pituitary and pineal gland. So these 3 glands are present in the brain. So 3 glands are there in the brain: hypothalamus, pituitary and pineal gland. So first 3, hypothalamus, pituitary and pineal gland is present in the brain. Okay, then in the neck portion there is thyroid gland, what you see here, thyroid gland, and just connecting to thyroid gland there is parathyroid gland. So thyroid gland and parathyroid gland are present in the neck portion. Then thymus, what you can see here, thymus, that is there in the breastbone, behind the heart. Breastbone means in the chest portion, behind the heart, there is a gland that is called thymus gland. So in the chest portion or in the breastbone. Then there is adrenal gland. You know this name. Renal means kidney. Adrenal means just above the kidney. So these are 2 kidneys you can see there. On the kidney, like a cap, just like a cap on that. Okay, 2 glands are there. You see here yellowish cap like structure. That is adrenal gland. The renal word refers to kidney. Adrenal means just above the kidney glands are there. So that is called adrenal gland. Okay. Then pancreas is there. Pancreas, that is also endocrine and exocrine, both. So pancreas is called heterocrine gland. Pancreas has both the parts. Some part of the pancreas is exocrine, it has ducts, and some part of the pancreas is endocrine, so it is both exocrine and endocrine. So together it is called heterocrine gland. Okay. Then last, till here what you see, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Till here all these 8 glands are common for both male and female. These 2 are common for both male and female, but gonads meaning reproductive organs. Okay, gonads meaning reproductive organs, and reproductive organs are different in male, different in female. You know this very well. Okay, in male there is testis, in female there is ovary. So those 2 are different. Other than that, remaining all the endocrine glands are same for both male and female. Okay, so if we go to next slide, first endocrine gland we will study in detail, that is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is the first gland. You can see the location there. It is present in the brain. Which part of the brain? It is present in the forebrain. You know, thalamus and hypothalamus is a part of forebrain. It is present in the forebrain. No? So neurosecretory cells called nuclei of hypothalamus secrete following hormones. So the cells of hypothalamus we call neurosecretory cells. Neurosecretory cells are cells of hypothalamus, and these cells are also called as nuclei. So other name for these cells is nuclei. So nuclei or neurosecretory cells of hypothalamus produces following hormones. What hormones? Number 1, releasing hormones, inhibiting hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin. So this is very important. See, releasing hormones, when they release, hypothalamus releases these hormones, releasing hormones, then only it can make pituitary to release their hormones. Already we have discussed this in our previous class, in a previous chapter. You know this, I have already explained. Pituitary is called master gland, but pituitary produces many hormones, but pituitary itself is under control of hypothalamus. Like I gave you example. For example, suppose husband is a master or husband is the main person in the house, but without the wife's order he is nothing. I'm just joking, okay? So always it doesn't happen like that, but it is like giving a lot of respect there. So while taking decision, definitely they will ask each other, okay, then they will come to decision. So like that. So releasing hormones will make pituitary to release their hormones. So pituitary gland is under control of hypothalamus. Then inhibiting hormones released by this will stop pituitary to release their hormones. So pituitary and hypothalamus are in contact with each other. So releasing hormones, inhibiting hormones, then oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin is called birth hormone, released during childbirth or delivery. Okay, we will see one by one now. So what you have to remember is hypothalamus releases 3 hormones, that is releasing hormone, inhibiting hormone, oxytocin and vasopressin. Then hypothalamus. Okay, so let us go by these hormones one by one. You can see there they are showing structure of pituitary gland, how it is connected to hypothalamus. So what you see there, upper blue color part, that is hypothalamus, and lower red and pink color, what you see, or red and orange color, that is pituitary. See how pituitary and hypothalamus is connected to each other. Okay, so the blue color part, what you see is hypothalamus, and their star-like structure, what you see, some cells are there that are called hypothalamic neurons, that is neurons of the hypothalamus. Very important, because through that hypothalamic neurons only hypothalamus sends signal to pituitary to release their hormones. So hypothalamus is connected to pituitary, and hypothalamus controls pituitary gland there. Okay, how it controls? By sending neurons from the hypothalamus to pituitary. So that neuron which is connecting hypothalamus to pituitary will send signal from hypothalamus to pituitary and controls pituitary gland. Okay, so let us see what are the hormones produced by hypothalamus there. Okay, so that is, first one is releasing hormones. Releasing hormones stimulate secretion of pituitary hormones. I told you, releasing hormones released by hypothalamus will make pituitary to release their hormones, like gonadotrophin releasing hormone. What all releasing hormones are produced? They are just giving example. Gonadotrophin releasing hormone stimulates release of gonadotrophins from pituitary. See, gonadotrophin, gonads means reproductive organs. Reproductive organs, if they should produce sperm and egg, testis and ovary, if they should produce sperm and egg, then these gonadotrophin releasing hormones are very important. But to release that gonadotrophin releasing hormones, hypothalamus is required. Hypothalamus releases gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Okay, so that will release gonadotrophins from pituitary. Means pituitary can release gonadotrophins only when hypothalamus releases GnRH, that is gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Okay, very important. Then second, inhibiting hormones. Inhibit meaning to stop. Inhibit secretion of pituitary hormones. That means this is reverse of previous process. So when releasing hormones are released by pituitary hypothalamus, then that will make pituitary to release their hormones. When inhibiting hormones are released by hypothalamus, that will shut off production of hormones by pituitary. Shut off means stops. Okay, like for example, somatostatin is a hormone, inhibiting hormone, which inhibits release of growth hormone from the pituitary. Then what happens? Person will be dwarf. He'll be short. So somatostatin is a inhibiting hormone, which when it is released by the hypothalamus, it will make pituitary to stop. It will stop pituitary to release growth hormone. Then very important, oxytocin and vasopressin. These are transported axonally and stored in the pituitary. That means oxytocin and vasopressin hormones are released by hypothalamus, and it will be stored in the pituitary gland. Okay, what is important now for you? What is not there in the slide? I have to tell you. That is, there is one circulation that is called portal circulation. No? Port means tube. That is portal circulation. See, from the upper part of the pituitary, it is connected to lower part of the pituitary. One tube is there. Okay, and pituitary has two parts. You see here, this is posterior pituitary, this is anterior pituitary. Okay, the lower part is anterior and the sides, that is posterior pituitary gland. Okay. Next, we have learnt hypothalamus already. That is, it releases three types of hormones, that is releasing hormone, inhibiting hormone, oxytocin and vasopressin. Now next gland, which is called master gland, that is pituitary gland, very important. It produces many hormones and controls major part of the body. I mean, many hormones are produced by pituitary which controls other glands. Pituitary controls all other glands, that is why it is called master gland. Pituitary gland is called master gland because pituitary gland controls all other glands. Okay, so see the structure of pituitary gland, where it is located. Definitely in the brain. You can see here position they are showing in the brain. Okay, so you can see the location of pituitary gland in the brain. It is located in a bony cavity. It is located in a bony cavity called sella turcica. Very important. Pituitary gland is located in the bony cavity. One small pouch like structure is there that is made of bone. Okay, that is called sella turcica. It is attached to hypothalamus by a stalk. Stalk means, you know, a long stick like structure. In the previous part you can see that this is hypothalamus and this is pituitary. It is connected with the help of stalk. This is the stalk. Okay. So next part, location of pituitary we saw just now. We'll see next. What are the parts of pituitary gland? There are two parts in a pituitary gland. That is what we have seen in previous diagram, that is anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary gland is on this side. You see, this is anterior and this is posterior. It is highlighted in two red color, no? That is anterior, that side is anterior and this side is posterior. So anterior pituitary is called adenohypophysis. Posterior pituitary is called neurohypophysis. Two names are there. So suppose this is a pituitary gland, this side, what you see, that side, no? That is anterior and this is posterior. Anterior pituitary is called adenohypophysis and posterior pituitary is called neurohypophysis. Then again anterior pituitary, that is that side, has two parts. One is pars distalis, other one is pars intermedia. Okay, you see there, this is pars distalis and this is pars intermedia. Anterior pituitary, clearly you can notice here, anterior pituitary they are showing in purple color, posterior pituitary, no, in different color they are showing. So in anterior pituitary, two parts, pars distalis and pars intermedia. Pars distalis and pars intermedia. Okay, next. First part we will see, first part of anterior pituitary, that is pars distalis or anterior pituitary. You see there, they are showing the picture. This yellow color is posterior and that pink color is anterior. So there are two parts, you can see there. Can show you here. Okay, so this part is anterior and this is posterior. In anterior, this is called pars intermedia and this is pars distalis, you see here. Okay, so pars distalis, it produces following hormones. So pars distalis part of anterior pituitary produces following hormones. What all hormones? Somatotrophin, also called as growth hormone, GH. You call it as growth hormone or somatotropin, it is same. Then prolactin hormone, prolactin. Then thyroid stimulating hormone. Prolactin is required for production of milk in the breast. Thyroid stimulating hormone is required for activating thyroid gland. Then adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. Adrenocorticotropic hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. Thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. Follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. This is produced in both male and female, which is required for development of follicles in the ovary of female. Even it is required for production of sperm also. So follicle stimulating hormone has its effect on gonads or reproductive organs. Then luteinizing hormone, also called LH, luteinizing hormone or LH. This also same like FSH. Both FSH and LH are required for gonads or reproductive organs. Okay, so this is very important to note. So you see previous slide if you want. Pituitary gland has two parts, adenohypophysis, neurohypophysis. Adeno means anterior pituitary, neuro means posterior pituitary. Again, anterior pituitary has two parts, pars distalis, pars intermedia. Now what we learnt is pars distalis, that is the first part. What all hormones it produces? It produces somatotropin or growth hormone, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, okay, thyroid stimulating hormone or TSH, adrenocorticotropic hormone ACTH, follicle stimulating hormone FSH, and luteinizing hormone LH. Then next part, same one by one we will learn now. Pars distalis, one by one. What is the function? What is their work? You know, you can see there they are showing shortest person and tallest person. Shortest person in the world is, you can see there, his height is 2 feet 5.3 inches, and becoming very short, that is called dwarfism. Dwarfism, now kannadadalli kubjate anta karite. And person who is very tall, his name is Sultan Kosar. See, Sultan Kosar, he is having gigantism. You know what is giant means? It is brahat anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. Giant means huge. He is very tall. Whether person is tall or dwarf depends on growth hormone released by pituitary. Which part of pituitary? Pars distalis of anterior pituitary. So somatotropin or growth hormone, it is required for body growth. If body has to grow, then GH is required. Over secretion of GH causes gigantism, abnormal. If more growth hormone is produced, growth will happen very high, then the person will be very tall, very huge, then it is called gigantism. Okay, you can see that tallest person there, he is having gigantism. Then hyposecretion means very less growth hormones are produced, then person will be very short. What is his name? He Ping, his name. He Ping. He is just 2 feet 5 inches. Okay, that is because of very less growth hormones are produced. That is called dwarfism. It is called stunted growth. Stunted growth means abnormal or very less growth. Gigantism is called abnormal growth because it is not normal, it is abnormal. So next, same somatotropin or growth hormone. Over secretion of growth hormone in adults. In adults, no? In middle-aged people. Middle-aged means, you know, we are talking about 40-45 years old, like that person. Over secretion of GH in adults, mainly in middle age, causes acromegaly. Acromegaly means, you know, the face will be long, skull will be long, especially the WWE, if you are interested in that, no, WWF earlier, I mean, it is WWE. Indian wrestler is there. His name is the Great Kali. You know, Kali, something they say. He has acromegaly. You look at his face. Okay, it is very long. It looks abnormal. See this kind of very long skull. You know, it looks abnormal. That is acromegaly. Severe disfigurement, especially face. Face no doesn't look like normal. When you look at him only, he looks abnormal. Very long face, very long skull. That is acromegaly because of over-secretion of GH. It leads to serious complications and premature death. If more GH is produced in middle age, then it leads to complications in the body and it causes death. The Great Kali is very tall, 7 feet something. It is because of, and all his brothers, all other family members in his family are normal. They are having average height. Only he has grown that much because he has a problem in the body, that is acromegaly condition and gigantism. Okay. Then early diagnosis of the disease is difficult. It may be undetected for many years. Nobody will come to know that they are going to have acromegaly, okay, in the early stage. When they get that disease only, they will come to know. So this chapter is definitely very interesting for you. Okay. So we will discuss this in the next class, okay, because it's already 35 to 40 minutes crossed now. Okay, so keep watching classes. Thank you.